Incoming transmission standby. Welcome to the Nod News Network. A French proposal to prolong punitive measures against Mali was rejected by Moscow. After Russia rejected a request to extend UN sanctions against Mali made by France and the United Arab Emirates, all of them will be lifted on August 31st. Russian ambassador to the UN Vasily Nebenzia claimed that the decision entirely disregarded Moscow's and Bamako concerns. The sanctions and the mandate of the UN expert group tasked with overseeing Mali would have been prolonged through August and September 2024, respectively, under the Franco-Emirati agreement. Russia cast the lone negative vote in the UN Security Council, where it got 13 votes. China didn't vote. The alternative draft submitted by Moscow, which called for an early termination of the expert group's mandate and a final 12-month extension of the sanctions, was rejected by the Council. Japan abstained, and 13 other members did not vote. Moscow reportedly pursued the expert group because of its most recent report, which accused the Russian private military firm Wagner of violence against women, and other forms of grave abuses of human rights and international humanitarian law in order to spread terror among populations. Bamako has defended its approach to the Wagner Group by claiming that the Russian security advisors were far more successful than the French or the UN in thwarting the Islamic militants that NATO's 2011 regime change action in Libya had unleashed across the Sahel. After the voting, Nebenzia explained his veto by claiming that the Franco-Emirati draft took absolutely no account of the concerns of the Malian side and the position of the Russian Federation. Nebenzia reminded the Security Council that as part of a peace process in 2017, Mali itself requested the sanctions against 8 people. He claimed that the Russian resolution takes into account the position of the African members of the Council that the sanctions should continue for a while to aid in the implementation of the peace agreement, but not turn into an instrument of external influence on domestic political processes in Mali. On the demand of the military government in Bamako, France, the former colonial power in Mali, has already withdrew all of its troops from the West African country. Additionally, Mali has given the 15,000 UN civilian employees and peacekeepers until December 31 to leave the country. To avoid needless conflict in the Security Council, Nebenzia continued, "We hope that in the future, sponsors of resolutions will prioritize a practical approach in the interests of the host country. Especially in the circumstances where, if some delegations had the political will to do so, a compromise agreement could have been reached." This has been the Nod News Network, transmission complete.